Hello, dear students. Welcome back to the second lecture from the chapter Reproduction in Organisms. This is one of the easiest chapters out of the 16 chapters you have in your class 12 syllabus. As I have already mentioned in my previous lecture, that in sexual reproduction, two individuals of opposite sex are involved. These two individuals, they will produce gametes which are haploid cells. These gametes will fuse to form zygote, and that from the zygote a new individual will be born. Now, in every sexually reproducing organism, there is a period of growth and maturity. I have highlighted this phrase. There is a stage of growth and maturity. And on attaining this growth and maturity, only after that the organism can sexually reproduce. This period of growth and maturity is called juvenile phase. In case of animals, it is termed as vegetative phase in case of plants. Now, the duration of this juvenile phase or the vegetative phase is different in different organisms. If we talk about the annuals, the plants that complete their life cycle in a year, in those cases, the juvenile phase will be short. In case of organisms which are perennial, not organisms, the plants which are perennial, in that case, the juvenile phase will last for years. And when the organism transits from the juvenile phase to the reproductive phase, there is obviously, or from vegetative phase to the reproductive phase, there is obviously some observable morphological changes. Now here you can see one thing, student, this is very important from the examination point of view. Now there, in your NCERT, there is that it is mentioned about two plants which shows unusual flowering. Like it is said that bamboo, bamboo flowers once in its lifetime. After 20, 50 to 100 years. If the lifespan of a bamboo species is 50 years, it will come to flower once in its lifetime, that is in 50 years. It will produce large number of seeds and then it will die. There is another plant, very important, students. You write the spelling in a copy and then practice. There is a flower called Nilakuranji. The word Nila means what? The word Nila means blue. Nila word comes from the word Nil or blue. This plant, scientific name, remember, Strobilanthes kunthiana. This plant flowers once in 12 years. Have you heard the name of the Nilgiri hills? Obviously, yes. The word Nilgiri has been derived from the Nilakuranji. Now, this flower is present, or this plant is present in the Western Ghats, covering the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. And this place becomes a place of tourist attraction. Now, I will showing you the image of the tract. So, this is what? This is in different shades of blue. Actually the flower comes. This is the picture, the flowers of Nilakuranji, and then I will show you the tract. This you can see the Western Ghats, the hilly tracts of Western Ghats turns blue, and this is the reason why many tourists are attracted to visit Nilgiris once in 12 years. Now, dear students, you know that organisms do not reproduce throughout the year. There are certain organisms that reproduce only in a particular season. There are certain organisms that reproduce throughout the reproductive period. In case of humans, they are known as continuous breeders. Because once humans attain sexual maturity, once the humans are able to produce gametes, till the senescence, till the gametes are formed in the body of humans, they will be able to reproduce. But in case of certain organisms, instead of certain animals, they reproduce only in a particular season. You know that the certain fruits are available only in a particular season. because those plants reproduce in a particular season, or those animals reproduce in a particular season. However, man has commercially exploited animals to reproduce very often. For example, the egg layers, the hens in the wild, they won't lay eggs all the time. They have a particular season to lay the eggs. But the hens in the poultry farms, they can be made to lay eggs regularly. Now there is two reproductive cycles in the non-primates. Under the class Mammalia, we have two order: primata, non-primata. The non-primates, which includes cows, sheep, rats, deers, dogs, tiger, etc., they show cyclical reproductive changes in the body that is called estrous cycle, during which they come to reproduce. Now, in case of the primates, where we are included, the primates have large brain size with more complexity. Humans, apes, and monkeys. The reproductive cycle is called menstrual cycle. I will scroll down. Now, in every sexually reproducing organisms, there can be three different stages. One stage is before fertilization, which is called pre-fertilization. One stage is after fertilization, that is post-fertilization events, and the other is fertilization. Let us see one by one what happens in each of these events. Now, in pre-fertilization, we have two things occur. One is gametogenesis, and the other is a gamete transfer. Now, this word gametogenesis will come in details about the gametogenesis mechanism in plants, in case of animals, in the coming two chapters. In gametogenesis, gametes are formed. Wherever you find the word genesis means formation. So in gametogenesis, gametes are formed. In gametogenesis, gametes are formed. And in gamete transfer, the gametes are the two opposite gametes, one male gamete, one the female gamete. The gamete come together so as to fuse, so to fertilize. So under pre-fertilization events, we'll understand gametogenesis, that is formation of the gametes, male gamete and female gamete. And you all know what are gametes? Gametes are haploid sex cells. In the diagram, in the image, you can see, students, in the image you will find the gametes. Now look at this, the gametes of cladophora. These are the gametes of cladophora. In the gametes of cladophora, we find that the male gamete and the female gamete both look similar in shape and size. Such gametes are called isogametes. The word iso means same. Now you look at the gametes of the fucus, which is an algae, or you look at the gametes of humans, Homo sapiens, you find the gametes, they look different. Such gametes are called heterogametes. Hetero means different. Okay, let us proceed further. So it is mentioned here, the homogametes and the heterogametes. Now, here are certain terms, students, and I hope you have already learned all these things in a previous class in the chapter morphology of flowering plants. Now, the plant, if I say a plant, and the plant bears both the male flower and the female flower on the same plant. एक plant है, उसमें male flower भी है, उसमें female flower भी है. That plant is called monoecious. Monoecious. Mono means one, oecium means home. So when in a single plant both the male flower and the female flower is present, that is called monoecious plant or homothallic. And if the male flower and the female flower are present on different plants, one is a male plant, other is a female plant, that is called heterothallic or dioecious. Now, if the plant bears only the male part, that is called staminate flower or staminate plant. If the plant bears only the female part, that is called pistillate. Now, students, here I would like to mention one thing. This is very important. Examples of this plant, this monoecious dioecious plant. Here we have examples of this one, the dead. Also this dead plant, papaya and dead palm. Papaya and dead palm are dioecious. Very important. Papaya and dead palm are dioecious. Now one question will come, very often it comes in exam. If you're asked that you have a papaya plant in your kitchen garden and you find that the flowers come in the papaya plant, however there are no papaya in the papaya plant. Why this happens? Some of the papaya plant bears papaya, some of the papaya plant do not bear papaya. This is because the papaya plant which bears papaya, they are the female papaya plant or the pistillate plant, and the papaya plant that do not bear papaya, they are the male papaya plant, that is the staminate. So this is the reason why not all papaya plants bear papaya. A very important question, students. Now in case of animals also, there is a term called hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites. Now, in certain animals like leech, tapeworm, sponge, earthworm, the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part both are present in the same organism. Means in one earthworm, there is the organ of testis is present and the ovary is also present. In earthworm, testis is also present, ovary is also present in the same earthworm. So it is called hermaphrodite. A very important question. What are hermaphrodites? Organisms having both the male and the female sexual structures in the same animal. They are called hermaphrodites. Now let us come to a very conceptual portion here. Now students, you all know that gametes are haploid cells. Gametes are haploid in nature. That means they have half the number of chromosomes. Now from the parent from which these gametes are formed, the parent may be haploid or may be diploid. Because you know that some plants they have haplontic life cycle, some plants have diplontic life cycle. So the gametes which are formed from the parent, the parent may be haploid or the parent may be diploid. Now, if the parent is a diploid organism, if the parent is a diploid organism like us, if the parent is a diploid organism, the gametes has to be formed by the process of meiosis. Because in meiosis, the chromosome number is reduced to half, and that's why meiosis is called reductional division. I hope this question came in your annual exam this time. But if the organism itself is a haploid, think students, if the organism itself is a haploid, then meiosis cannot occur. In this case, mitosis will lead to the formation of gametes. So gamete formation or gametogenesis occurs both by mitosis and meiosis. If the organism is a diploid one, then it will occur by meiosis. If the organism is a haploid one, then it will occur by mitosis. Now here, look at this diagram, student. Here you will find that in case of earthworm, we have the testis. This is the testis and we have the ovary. So in earthworm, both testis and ovary is present. That's why earthworm is called a hermaphrodite organism. It is a hermaphrodite organism. Okay. Now this is heterothallic. This is a female thallus. This is a male thallus. So heterothalus are dioecious. Okay, the male thallus produces the male gametes. The female thallus produces the female gametes. So this is a heterothallus. Okay. Now students, look at this. Here in this table, we have names of some organisms. We have the number of chromosomes in the meiocyte. I forgot to mention one thing. Meiocytes. In case of diploid organisms, the cells which can undergo meiosis, they are called meiocytes. And meiocytes are always diploid in nature. This is very important, dear students. Okay, the chromosome number is 2n. But in the gametes, from which they contain half the number of chromosomes. Meiocytes 2n and the gametes are n. Meiocytes are the diploid cells that can undergo meiosis. So if the number of chromosome in the meiocyte is 46 diploid, then what will be the number of gametes in the number of chromosomes in the gametes? It will be half of 46, that is 23. Similarly, if it is 12 in housefly, then the gamete will be in gamete, the chromosome will be 6. Similarly, students, you can find out the number of chromosomes in the meiocyte and the number of chromosomes in the gamete. Remember, gamete contains always half the number of chromosomes as the meiocyte. Or in other words, the meiocyte contains twice the number of chromosomes as in gametes. The second thing under pre-fertilization event is a gamete transfer. Now, once the gametes are formed, they have to be transferred. The male gamete and the female gamete must come close to each other. And in most of the cases, the transfer of the gametes is through a medium known as water. In case of lower organisms, in case of algae, in case of bryophytes, in case of pteridophytes, in case of fishes, in case of amphibians, the transfer of the gametes is through the medium called water. However, in case of flowering plants where the pollens are formed, the gametes are present within the pollen grains and the pollens are transferred to the stigma by different pollinating agents. I hope you have you know all these things in your junior classes. So students, in my next video lecture, I'll be teaching you fertilization. Till then, Goodbye. Take care.